you tell everybody here who's new to this world a little bit about what you do and what that work is, because I don't know if everyone understands the difference between a designer, the coder, the developer. Can you walk everyone through?
Yeah. And so there's, when you're going to work, let's say on a sales page, I'll even let's just break this down and say like a website. There's a lot of moving parts. We have the customer who's going to be the client. We have the marketing aspect of the website. We have the user experience. We have the customer journey that people are going to go through when they first visit. We have the content that they're going to peruse, maybe a podcast or a blog. We have your services. We have portfolio. We have testimonials. Like there's a whole thing. Someone has to collect the testimonials. Someone has to write the testimonials to be written like a testimonial should be written. Someone has to help with the strategy. Someone has to help with the brand vision, the values, the mission, and then someone will write the copy. Someone will make, there will be a lot of correspondence to see if like the copy is going to work. Someone will design the page, and then someone will develop the page. Sometimes multiple people, like if you were going to hire like a marketing agency, they all have specialized people who can do this. In our online space, a lot of us are individuals with either skills that overlap on a project like that, or we are like collaborating. So like when I say to you, I'll bring in a copywriter, I'm not bad at copy, but there's people out there that are way better than me. I don't develop any page. I've never developed a single page. I don't touch code. I outsource all of it in my business, and then I refer it out to people with development agencies or a development service business to provide web development, because it's not a service. It's not a skill that I have or want to have. For the work that I do, a sales page has one intention, and that intention is literally just selling a service or getting someone to convert, or the conversion. I think that it's really confusing because there's a lot of terminology out there like earnings per lead and conversion rate and yada, yada, yada. And I would love to like riff on that for like 1 second. But think of the sales. So think of your sales page as like, it's a one-page document, one-page website. Kind of like if someone was going to take like the infomercials that like your mom or your grandma used to watch, like my mom always watched the jewelry ones, and they're going to take the photography and the videos and the testimonials and like everything, and they're just going to put it on like a big old long page. And big old long page. It sounds like a country. Anyway, but like, so that's like the intention is for them to take an action. It's not, if they're there, we don't want them visiting your YouTube channel. We don't want them visiting like your about page. You can have an about you section on the website. You can have media logos where you've been featured, but we're not linking to external pages. The intention of this page is to get someone to take action. You'll also hear the term landing page and sales page and opt-in page. A landing page and an opt-in page and a sales page essentially have the same goal, but the goal will be different depending on what it is. The opt-in page is where it's also known as a landing page, where someone's going to come in and they're going to opt in. But typically you won't see like a header menu on these pages. And if there's one rule I want you to remember today, on all your sales pages and your opt-in pages, delete your menus. Just your privacy policy should be in the footer with like terms and conditions or anything else. So the goal could be to get someone to book a sales call. The goal could be to get someone to opt in for text alerts. The goal could be for someone to buy from you. So the goal, depending on what, of what your strategy is going to be, that will be the call to action that's on all your landing pages, if that makes sense. So you might hear collectively sales page, landing page, opt-in page. The sales page is the goal to sell a product. And it's a really great place to send people when, I'm someone who, like, if I was talking to you right now and you were telling me about your service, I would literally need to like stop you from talking and go read it myself.
So where are you designing these pages? Where do you do this?
Photoshop with my team.
Yeah. See, this always surprised me because I didn't know. I'm used to being like the one-man band who gets on the tech platform and like it just does it there. But you're like coming up with a legit from scratch.
Yeah, and like it's a very collaborative process with both my client and myself. So I think that it's important to remember that and people will say like, why don't you provide templates in Canva? Or why don't you provide templates in Elementor? I don't work in Canva. I design pages that like are built in Photoshop. So I'm going to give you a Photoshop document. You know what I mean? You can have a designer replicate this for you in Canva, but that's not where my skill set is. You know what I mean? So, and when we develop, it really depends on the platform. And this is again, like, just like I was saying, I have conversations with copywriters about processes. I also have conversations with developers and editors and video editors, like anything I'm helping with. Like we're having a conversation about what platform is best, how long it'll take, what like the revision process will look like, because every project you do, you learn a lesson that you don't want to learn again on the next sales page, right?
Yes. I just want everyone to pick up what Melissa's dropping down here. Like, she's staying in her zone of genius. She found out what she's good at, and she can pass on the actual like coding and developing of the site to those people who are good at it. Like, there's nothing wrong with gaining that clarity and staying in your zone. And so basically you do the design in Photoshop and hand it to the developer who uses whatever platform they're using. So are you keeping that in mind when you're doing the design? Like, oh, this is like a Divi theme, or full freedom to do what you want?
So 90% of the sales pages I do are just like completely custom. And so they are coded customly as well. But it's not like I say, okay, this developer only works in Divi, we're going to work there. Or this developer only works in lead pages, we're going to work there. It's a very collaborative process. Okay, this client wants to use Instapage. Is this developer available? B, is it going to fit in the timeline? And then, are they familiar with this platform?
Why I was excited to bring you here on this show, because we have a lot of newer people, like, you know, and you're giving the perspective of someone who's like working at that 7-figure launch level. And this process becomes so much more than a one-man band or one-woman show. And this is just such like good insight to know like what that end game will be and why it's so important to gain clarity into the service you want to be doing and like what that will look like. So do you have, even though I know you don't work in it, do you have some favorite platforms?
So I really like Show It personally.
Me too.
And I'm so new to Show It that like, I know you took my free sales page course. I had done that. I had offered that same sales page course before. And like my whole entire sales page template, like people like that version, I gave people access to the template. I didn't this time just because I wanted to take the technical aspect out of it and like not be responsible for it. But that page was built in Show It. My website's on WordPress. And again, I think any platform that you want to use that works best for you is like one you should use. But I like Show It.
I recently had so I build quiz funnels for clients and I work with a copywriter and collaborate on that. And then I do a lot of the building. So I will design the results pages. And I recently but I have to fit the client's platform, which, you know, works well with my Jill of all trades skills. But I have had 2 clients now who had Show It, and I absolutely loved it. It was like confusing as heck to start, but the design, like I feel like I could take something easily from your Photoshop and your design and like translate it. Other platforms, it's so tricky.
And the thing that we have to remember too about any type of web design or development is that there has to be a mobile experience. There has to be, and no one like is talking about this. You wouldn't believe like the successful entrepreneurs I have who have paid like high 5 figures for their websites and sales pages. And they're like, it doesn't look good on mobile. And the designer like kind of disappeared. And so, but then they want to go with someone cheaper who doesn't make them, you know, doesn't make that a priority. And then they come back. But like Show It has a mobile platform.
Yeah, you can just do the mobile view and make it look different.
My sales pages, I think, are built just in my business. Most of them are built in Elementor or they're a custom theme, but my Show It sales page loads faster than Elementor.
Can you talk to everyone about how your business has like changed over the years and like what were you charging at the beginning? And can you share some of like that, what that pricing is now? And I want to give people like a look at how it really works, because I think so many people think I just start and I start making money right away and I book out right away. And I would like a real life look at what that.
Yeah. And just since we're talking about real life, again, I want to preface this with saying that my intention when I first got started was just to get paid to be creative. Like there's no other, like I want to make $10 or $10,000 a month. Like I never had those goals until I was making that much money. And I was like, oh, but like I was started out literally at $20 an hour for anyone who would pay me. And then I raised that to $50 an hour. And then eventually that went to $75 an hour. And that's just for work, like clocked hours. And then, I think my first sales page after I was charging hourly, I was probably around like $900 for the design alone. And so that's like where I started. Now I'm anywhere. It depends on the length of the sales page and like what else I'm doing for the launch. So it's kind of different, but it literally varies right now between like $400 and like $5,500.
Okay.
for the design, but there's more strategy involved. I'm overseeing the development of the page.
Yes.
Unless it's a client that I know and know that their team can handle it. But at the end of this month, I'm doubling that price.